go to your my name is Mohamed Adel. I'm a clinical engineer. Uh, very difficult and Louise Lambert and Dr. Amira Waly. I was that
Mohammed, I cannot hear you clearly. I don't know about Louisa, but I cannot hear you clearly.
Okay, so
This is okay.
okay,
Now it's okay. Yes.
okay. So I would like to introduce my dear guests, Dr. Louise and Dr. Amira. So please introduce yourself, Dr. Louise. The microphone is yours.
Hi. Well, thanks everyone for joining. It's great to see everybody. Although I can't actually see you, but you can see me, so that's good enough. I'm joining you from Dubai tonight, and I'm the editor of the Middle East Journal of Positive Psychology, and I'm a researcher in the field, in part looking at student well-being, university student well-being being one of them. And a number of different topics in the region, largely around culture, positive psychology interventions, and how we can just improve life in general in this part of the world. And I think that covers me.
Interesting, mashallah. Okay, so Dr. Amira, to introduce yourself.
Hello, Dr. Louise and Mohammed. I am Amira Waly. I'm a professor in the Faculty of Medicine in Egypt. I'm the director of the undergraduate bachelor program, the integrated new program that started about 4 years ago. And I'm also an internationally certified professional trainer, and I'm interested in the areas of educational strategies and student motivation and student engagement. 2 years ago, I got a certificate in the life coaching from the ICF, the International Coaching Federation, and that was the trigger for me to study positive psychology. I finished that in last June. I got a certificate of positive psychology practitioner certified, and I found that it has a lot to do with education, with team leading issues, and in the university as particular environment, there are a lot of aspects that positive psychology has to do with. And I think it has changed a lot of my practices with the students and with my colleagues. And I'm so glad to be with you today.
Yeah, thank you, doctor, for your effort to make students feel better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, so let's move on to our questions. Um, the first question is talking about positive psychology and what drew you to positive psychology, and what does positive psychology relate to your current field?
Well, I think what drew me to positive psychology, honestly, it was an accident. I was doing my doctorate and I saw this course, positive psychology, and I thought, oh, that sounds easy because I wanted to get like grades and get my credits done. So I took it, and I was already practicing at the time as a psychologist, and it just transformed my whole worldview. And it really reminded me of why I had joined psychology. I had initially thought it was about making people feel great and feel happy and achieve a sense of well-being. And then I quickly found out psychology is just about making people feel less miserable. So when I took a course, I was like, wow, that's what, like, I forgot this was still there. So I started to incorporate it into my work. I was working in a mental health clinic at the time, and working with a lot of clients that were depressed. And so I put together a program using what we call positive psychology interventions. So the strategies, empirically validated strategies to improve subjective well being and life satisfaction. And we started using that for our clients that were depressed. And for the first time, they stopped coming. And that's a good thing in mental health when you don't see clients anymore, because it means they don't need to come back and see you. And after that, I just really saw its potential. And so it's a very powerful tool to help reduce depression. That's where it was clinically validated to begin with, but also to improve well-being and to give people a reason to get up in the morning. So it really transformed my practice, and that's kind of, I come from a practice background, and then in recent years I've moved more into research, but again, just investigating that very same question: what makes life worthwhile and gives people a reason to get up in the morning. So that's my long answer of saying it was really an accident.
Cool. What an accident. So, for Dr. Amira, how did the story begin?
The story actually began indirectly after I finished my doctorate in surgery in 2002. I had the job of being a lecturer in the Faculty of Medicine, and I have always inquired at that time, what did we learn in the Faculty of Medicine about teaching or about education? Actually, nothing. We don't learn in the Faculty of Medicine anything about teaching others or teaching students.
Yeah.
I started searching about how to qualify myself upon scientific base, not by imitating what are other professors doing. So I will teach like what I have been in the way I have been taught. I wasn't convinced about that. So I've studied 2 degrees in education. The first was diploma here in Egypt, and the second one was a master degree in the University of Edinburgh in UK. And I didn't realize at that time that these are aspects of psychology. What are we learning about how people learn and how students learn and how to motivate them, and the self-learning environment, and all of these. And in 2020, I had an interest to study the life coaching because I felt that our students need something, not psychiatrists, but they need something to help them withstand the stress of the study. Medical study is so stressful. If university as a whole is a new word for the students, medical studies is a harsh new word for the student. So I said maybe when I study life coaching, I will find some clues to how to support the students emotionally and mentally, how to motivate them more to withstand this stressful study. And during my study for life coaching, I came by the positive psychology as a term, and I said, yes, I want to go in more depth in the future. I will go in more depth in this. And I don't know how did these engines of the Google and the Facebook. I think they have heard me, and I started finding announcements about positive psychology courses. And I have tasted one of these courses, and I found this it's so delicious and so interesting. So I will go to eat the whole meal. So I've got that master coach program with Bratzo Bobritz, and it was a great journey for me as a team leader and as a teacher. And that was reflected also later on with the students in all the levels, all the aspects of where I work as a healthcare or as for learning with the students, with the teams of the academic and non-academic staff, and even with my family. It has a great impact.
Okay.
I hope that that's enough.
That's so interesting. That is so interesting. I thank you again, both of you, for as an engineer. I used to be an engineering student, which is so stressful. I heard about lots of stories of my friends who go to shrinks because studying engineering is so tiring and leaves no time for students to do anything
Mhm.
else. So
Yes.
uh, from time to time, we need someone to talk to us and ask what do you feel and how is it going with you. So I thank you again for your efforts. And as I mentioned, I was talking about university and how it was going. So regarding the challenges for university students, which includes both the academic and on the personal level challenges. In your opinion, what are the most common challenges students or university students face?
I think this is an interesting question. So this semester, so I teach at university as well, and this semester I just asked students, and this is part of a study that I'm going to be doing now, but what makes you unhappy at university and what makes you happy at university? And what's one small thing the university could do to make your life easier? And I asked that very specific question because often we put the responsibility for well-being on the individual student, and we do have a responsibility. There are certainly things we can do to help ourselves, but I think we almost let universities off the hook when we do that. So we overlook what universities themselves could do to promote a better environment to help students not have to do everything on their own. So that really came through in a lot of their comments. They said, and they actually had some really good suggestions, and I'll get to those later. But in asking what were some of their stressors, what makes them unhappy, they talked about, just being seen as a customer. So for some universities, particularly in the private sector, they are seen
Yes.
as paying customers, and that kind of removes the nurturing environment that many have been used to when they're in school. Others just felt alone. So they're in a university with 2,000 students and feeling like they don't know anybody. And they're just wandering around going, hello, and not
Mhm.
feeling like they're being seen in a classroom, or they're being heard, or validated, or feeling like they don't really belong in some way. And we know that loneliness is a big health factor. Dr. Amira, I'm sure you know that. Um, and it really weighs on them. So many of them
Yes.
spend 9 hours a day at university, particularly if they've got a class in the morning, another one later in the day, wandering around feeling like you're never seen and just not feeling very good about yourself. In addition to all of the academic stressors.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing that I think is important to point out, and we know this not just from local studies, but from global studies as well, is that about 50% of mental health issues appear before the age of 25. So when
Mm.
schools do not pay attention to mental health, universities certainly don't, or not as much as they should. We're really doing a disservice to young people. And that is exactly the moment when they need it. And that is exactly the moment when professors, management, leadership, the whole university community should be coming around students and saying, I see you.
Mm.
And I'm going to keep watching you until you leave, and I'm also going to love you and validate
Yes.
you until you do.
Yes.
And they're adults, but they're I don't want to say they're kids, but they're human, and I think we all just need to be seen. So that would be the biggest thing, is just not being seen.
Yes, I think loneliness is one of the biggest problems that face the students, especially when they are freshmen coming from different regions, even from one country. Um, for foreigners, I think the matters is worse, uh, especially if they are coming directly from secondary schools to the university. I think they suffer a little bit from changing the cultures, changing the food and the customs and traditions from one country or one region to another. So for
Yeah.
Dr. Amira, in your opinion, what do you think?
Well, I will start from where you have ended the transition, this transition from the school to the university.
Mm.
Sometimes, or in many, especially that I'm not living in Cairo. The university I'm working in is to the east from Cairo. It's called Zagazig University.
Yes.
A lot of our students are not living in Zagazig, so they are not only The transition is not only from the school to the university as different study environment, but also they are leaving their hometowns, and
Yeah.
sometimes they are leaving their countries even. We have a lot of foreigner students or international students that they are not Egyptians. And even the Egyptians, when I talked with them, I found that they also suffered this sense of being a stranger, because
Yes.
this is not their hometown. They miss their families, they miss their friends. They have really this expression of I am alone. I am completely alone. And I've heard this expression also, and that what touched me a lot from my daughter when she entered the university in another city. And in the first week, she was crying when she sat with me. She was crying. She told me, I'm literally alone. I'm literally a stranger. It's a new place with new teachers, and I don't have even one colleague, not friend, but colleague that I have known before. And what added to this for my daughter and for many students, that there are many schools now in Egypt that starts from kindergarten, or from the KG, from the preschool. They start in this school and they remain in the school until they finish the secondary school with the same friends, with the same groups, and suddenly they are switched from this very well known environment like home to a completely different environment. Also, the professors, the awareness of the professors for this transition is not up to date enough. It's not. They are not aware enough to this. So they start treating the students like they have gone into the army or into the military service. They cannot understand or embrace this feeling of being a stranger. They cannot yet. We need to do a lot of work in the university to raise this awareness about how to care for these students, particularly the first year students, how to take care more, how to give them this feeling that Louise talked about, that you are not alone. We are here, we love you, and we are here to support you. And we know that you are suffering because we were there once. We were in your place once, and we know that you are suffering, and we were suffering, and we are here to help you. They need to realize this feeling. It will do a lot with them. Also, the academic overload in the school, the schedule is one schedule for all the branches, and all the teachers know what are the others doing, and the study load is well measured,
Yes.
more accurately measured. But in the university, and from the very first day, there's no measurements like this, and the student is surprised and astonished, maybe with the load of the study that they need to go through. Moreover, the language of the study. For example, in medicine, the medical all the medical schools, whether it's for medicine or pharmacy or dentistry, and also some faculties of engineering, they study the whole study in English. Even those coming from language schools, they used to mix the Arabic with the English language. And and of course, Dr. Bees know that the language has a lot to do with the perception of the knowledge, and so it's difficult to process this amount. So we need to give them some time to to accommodate for the language, for the new place. Some of them are they spend the first 2 weeks searching for a place to stay in, and
Yes.
at the same time they are taking new subjects, and they are taking new load of knowledge that they need to cope with. Also the friendships, the feeling of being alone, and if there are no activities that creates the bonds between the students, it becomes challenging. Sometimes they wake up only because they are going to meet some people who they like, If they don't want, if they don't find that in the university, why they are going to come to university?
Yes.
Uh, Also the admin stuff, because
Yeah.
in the beginning of the study in this the admin stuff, they meet the admins a lot, and not all of them are ready to deal with these newcomers.
Okay.
So these are some.
Now, okay. Now I bet you mentioned lots of challenges, and I bet there are more challenges to address. But now that you mentioned all these, Doctor, in your opinion, what's your recommended positive psychology tools that we can utilize to overcome these obstacles?
Well, one of the things I try to do, again, I think the university can, they've got games nights, they've got movie nights, all kinds of events, and I think that's good. But I think we need to go further than that. I- and some of my students made this recommendation. They said, You have to force us to talk to one another in the classroom," which I
Yes.
do anyway. But it was interesting to hear them say, "This is helpful." So I have class discussions all the time. I pair people up, and at first they're like, "Ugh, it's awkward." I don't care. Go talk. um, and they really like it after, and it forces them to meet new people and to connect and talk and to see one another. And they quickly realize, "Oh, you're new? Me too. Are you from there? Me too." And it goes really quickly. So I think there's things that we can do in the classroom. Faculty can very easily, in every single class, put in, whether it's a breakout room if you're teaching online, or in the classroom, to be pairing up people, to be doing group work, but it needs to be consistent, weekly, and we need to be enforcing it almost, and then it kind of goes. um, I think so. So, kind of really that sense of belonging. I think, Dr. Amira, you nailed it. You said, faculty need to be trained to be
Yes.
nicer. It's
Yes.
I
almost like
believe.
there's this weird image. Yeah, there's this weird image of the university professor that has to be mean and serious all the time. This is not necessary, and it doesn't help learning, and nobody likes that anyway. So I think it's training and helping teachers understand and faculty understand you can be nice, and it will improve your classroom, it will improve learning, and here's how you can do that. So again, I start my classes, every single class: "How are you feeling? Scale of 1 to 10. You're at a 2. Oh no, how come? You're at a 5. You're at a 7." And we just take that 3, 4 minutes to check in, so they know if they have something to say, that's the moment they say it. And I
Yes.
normalize a 3 out of 10. That's okay. Better luck next week, or, better luck this afternoon. Moods change all the time. But I talk about how people feel, and it's cool. It's fine. It's okay. At the end of some classes, I've even said, "Who needs a hug?" And people actually come. And it's just showing that, look, I care about you. It's okay. And you know what else? I believe in you, and you'll figure it out. And I think sometimes professors get a little bit scared because they think, well, I'm not a counselor. I'm not a psychologist. You don't need to be. Just let students know you believe in them, and they'll figure it out.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and there's more, but I'll hand it to Dr. Amita.
Well, we have started already some practices, but they are. I don't say that these are enough. We still to work more on the faculty development, but we have started with orientation week for the newcomers. During this, it starts with a welcoming party or welcoming ceremony where the more senior students start to provide some idea about the activities, about the cultural and art, sport activities in the university, and they present some of these for their colleagues, and then they take their junior or junior colleagues to a tour around the faculty to to show them where are the laboratories, where they can finish their papers, where they can reach for the academic advice. They take them in a tour guide all over the campus. And also, after that we start to teach them some simple tools about how to manage their time, how to arrange their schedule, what are the methods that they are going to use for learning, what are the facilities available there, who is their academic advisor, and how they can reach them, and what are the services that he or she can offer for them. Also, we have these sessions in which the students learn in teams. So we divide them randomly, so they don't know each other in the beginning of the class, but by the end of the class, each team has this sense of belonging to
Yeah.
the team, and this sense of competition with the other teams, which make them share something, even if they, after the end of the day, they don't see each other. But during the study day, they have these sessions of the team-based learning where they can interact with each other in the learning process itself. However, we still need to do more. I would like to have days such as cultural days, where all the students of different cultures, different countries present what they know, what they like to display about their countries. Also, something like what Dr. Louise said, to make sessions in which they will only talk about what they feel, how they feel about their study, what are the main obstacles, how do they want us to help them. How do they like us to help them? Because sometimes maybe we think, yes, this will be very helpful, let's go and do it, but they
And
actually
they don't
don't
want
want
that.
this. Maybe
Yeah.
they need something else, because they
Yeah.
have also their own desires, their own needs,
Yeah.
and they are not identical. Maybe some of them need only someone who listens because they miss their mothers, or they miss their sisters or brothers, and they need someone to talk to. Others maybe need someone to guide them through their study. How can we start with this, and how can we start with this? Maybe some of them, they don't need us at all. So maybe they have adequate support from the family. Some of the students have adequate support from their families, and they don't need our emotional support. So we need to ask them. Also, I have designed, after finishing my positive psychology study, I have designed a course titled Coping with Challenges. And I wanted only 50 students for this course, and 250 students have
Oh my God.
have recorded their names because they want to join this course. And so I told them, okay, we will have successive runs to finish all of the 250. But this can give you uh, can reflect to you to what extent they need to have such coping skill. And by the end of this course, one of the students have called me Dr. Amira, and said, yes, I am so grateful for you, because I told him, let's practice the gratitude exercise. And by the end of the course, they said, we are so grateful for you, because they got some tools to help themselves in this. So I think this is also one of the courses that can be offered for the students, and it's an elective course. It's not a compulsory course. Who needs will be served by this course. And another one, also the intercultural communication, the fundamentals for intercultural communication. And most of the the international students have also registered themselves in that course. So things like this can help,
Okay.
I think.
Okay. I think I need to take both of you professors to campuses of engineering, because I remember.
I can imagine, because my second daughter is studying the other one. I have two daughters. The
Yeah.
other one is studying architecture. And
Sorry for that. She
yes,
must be so tired. I know.
she's suffering, but she loves it. She
Yeah.
loves that. She
Actually,
loves
engineering.
that specialty, and that's why she can withstand all this stress. But I think
Yes.
if she wouldn't love that, It
Yes,
would have
she
been
wasn't there.
miserable years for her.
Yes, yes. I remember our first lecture when the professor stood up and said, "Come on, we're running out of time." Come
Oh,
on.
oh boy, that's
Yeah,
welcoming.
yeah. This is his welcoming session. Yes. So yeah, engineering is so stressful. Okay, let's try to make it better. So, in your opinion, professors, what do you think family members, friends, and professors can help university students have a more positive life? I think, in my opinion, mm, student activities could be good solutions because they help the student. Uh,
Muhammad, your voice is escaping
okay,
again.
Okay,
okay.
it's good
Can you
again.
hear me
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
It's back.
yeah, yeah.
Is it better? Okay.
Yes.
So I was talking about student activities and how they can help students. So what do you think? What do you think?
Um, I think those are good, but I think we can do better.
Okay.
So, talking about parents, students, they have lots to say about their parents. So they're like, please, can you speak to my mother or my father? But I actually think that's a valid point of intervention. I'd like to see maybe once a semester a parent evening where
Yes.
it's not just about information about classes and tuition prices, but it's about here's what your kids are going through and here's what your kids need from you. And here's what university life is like, and it's not like you had it 20 years ago. I think it's very hard for parents to understand that. I also think I think there's some cultural things there too. Some of my students from certain countries say, "Oh no, but you don't understand where we're from. It's all about an A at all costs, and we're burning out, we're unhappy, we're stressed, we're miserable, and and that seems to be the only thing that matters." Um, I had a young gentleman who was 20 or so stay after class one day and just said, nothing I do is good enough for my father, like nothing. And he just broke down crying. And I just gave him a hug. I didn't know what else to do. But I just thought, gosh, here's a kid who's getting straight A's and it's still not good enough. And I think we
Wow.
need to have that conversation with parents to say, it's fine. Your kids, like, stop it. They're fine. They're
Yes.
going to be fine. They're going to be fine. So I think parents would be quite useful. Um, the other thing I think would be quite useful is if we use the resources that we have. We tend not to use them very well. Students have to register for courses every semester. So when they do that, we should also put in some little questionnaire. It's almost like a screening questionnaire every single semester. How are you feeling? And we ask questions about depression and anxiety and stress, but we also ask about what went well last semester? What are your
Yes.
resources? How are you doing? Awesome. Like, how are you rocking this year? Right. So to have students to also reflect and go, yeah, okay, that didn't work very well. Here's things I can change, but also that was really good. I need to keep doing that. But in that screening process, when they need help, they get it. Because we know that from the time young people start to not feel good until the time they actually access help as adults is 10 years. So a decade. So universities could do a lot more in shortening that so that at a maximum, students will go 3.5 months not feeling well. So I think there's easy things that we could do, and we're just not doing them.
Great. Okay. So Dr. Amira, what do you think?
Well, one thing that we can do for the parents, I want to add not only if they are going along with the university, it's fine. They must not be the first, rank the first. It starts even before that. They need to choose what they like to study.
Mm,
They are not there to achieve your dreams, the parents' dreams. They need to achieve their own dreams. They need to realize what are their self concordant goals, what they want to achieve, because they want to do it, not because my father will be pleased or my mother will be happy. The parents will be happy whenever their son or daughter is successful in any specialty. But as you know, Muhammad, in our culture in Egypt, for example, if the student is clever enough to have high grades in the secondary school in the final year, so they must study either medicine or engineering. This is the top faculties. But
Yes,
the community needs a lot of other. Uh,
yes,
the
that's right.
community needs a lot of other people, not only doctors and engineers. And
Yes,
what do they want? They need to study what do they want in the beginning, because this will help them to cope with a lot of stresses. As I told you, my daughter, maybe sometimes she stays awake for 48 or 36 hours, or sometimes 72 hours to finish the model that she must finish for the building or for her design,
yes,
and she doesn't mind. She's happy, and she says, "Okay, I will sleep after that. I will compensate this sleeping," but because she loves this.
Mhm.
yes, yes,
Others in the Faculty of Medicine, a dream for some people or a dream for some students, but they are suffering and they are failing because they don't like this type of study. But they are there because the parents want them. I had
yes,
one student that was forced to deal with her friends from the same village, her girlfriends from the same village, because she needs to have an apartment in the city. And these are the ones from the families her parents know. And so you must go along with them and you must be
Mm.
friends with them. They didn't like each other when they were in the school from the very beginning. And that daughter, she didn't start to be she has suffered a lot, and she has failed multiple subjects, and she didn't start to cope with except after she came to us. And we started her academic advisor started to talk to the mother and to tell her that it will not go like this, and your daughter is starting the downward loop, and this will not be fine. And she's improving now, but this is one of the pressures that the parents has done or has
yes,
exerted on their sons and daughters. They need to assure their sons and daughters that they are always there for their support. And
And that there's
what
sorry.
matters is that you are happy by what you are doing, and that you are achieving something that you like, not something that we only like. Our children need to have this feeling that we are proud of you. We are proud that you are achieving your dream. They
yes,
need to realize this. This is the parents. And for the friends or the peers, with our help, if we have something like study buddy programs or accountability partners system in the university, or the what we call it, the near peer,
Mm.
the ones from the second year, for example, to support their colleagues from the first year. And the third, and this can be graded also as community service or as volunteering service. They can have grades for this, and it will be beneficial for both of them, for the one who is supporting and the one who will receive the support. But this needs our guidance, or a system that operates something like this in our universities. I think this would help too. As professors, we need to learn more about how to help our students learn while they are happy. Um, why not? Learning can be enjoyable instead of being painful and
Like a punishment.
not pleasant, not punishment. Learning can be so enjoyable, but if we exerted some effort to plan for this.
yes, yes. That's great. I think if you can go a mile further, for me, I decided to take engineering because I love to be an engineer. not honestly not because of scoring highly in the secondary school, but after I studied engineering subjects and graduated, I needed someone to tell me exactly what do engineers do when they graduate. This is so important because the
Yes.
yeah, because once you start taking your roles and doing your job as an engineer, you find out that the job is so tiring. You spend so much time working, and the working hours are for me the clock does not count. I will go home when I finish my job. And for some people, this is not so suitable. So they decide to shift their careers to anything else but not engineering. So I think it would be more honest and better to tell students in the secondary school that each specialization has got its working environment and has got its limitations that you know nothing about from only studying the subject. I think we should
Yes.
have. Yeah. Thank you, professors. And now to the next question. How can students educate themselves on the subject of positive psychology? So, for example, from courses, books, workshops, what do you think?
Well, like Dr. Amita's class, so there are classes in positive psychology. So I'm starting to teach one next week in our summer semester, and students love it. I mean, it is psychology. It's a psychology credit course, but it also teaches them skills to be well and to be happy and to have greater life satisfaction and to improve their relationships. And I've never had a bad happiness class. Students come out of there going, "Oh my gosh, my whole life has been transformed." And yeah, I think it's important. So it's not just something, I mean, certainly you can read about it. There's a lot of research in psychology, certainly. There's a lot of popular books, but I think it's having the experience of many of these positive psychology interventions. They seem really silly. I mean, things like gratitude. We just kind of go, really? Is that going to make me feel better? Actually, yeah, it will. Or things like savoring, things like capitalization, um, even just writing three good things. What's going well in your life? They seem silly and wimpy, but they actually have an impact. So they're good habits to take on, and they're good ways to sort of shift your mindset. It doesn't mean you're going to be happy every single day all the time, but they just make it a little bit more likely. Um, and they're good tools in emotional regulation when you're not feeling well and you want to change that, or when you are feeling well and you want to magnify it and keep it going. I think that's important. So giving them the experience, not just telling them go be happy, that doesn't help, but giving them the tools and having them do it right then and there, and then practice it to keep it up. It's a lot like health. If you just go to the gym once and then stop, that doesn't do anything. But you kind of have to learn to build it into your life and find a way to like it and find a way to keep it up and keep doing it. I think that's a good gift that we can give students.
Great. So, Dr. Amira?
For the students in general, I agree with Dr. Rees that the first thing is that they have these courses in their university to be offered these courses for them, but for all the students. For the students who get more curious about positive psychology and they want to learn more, they will also find some more in-depth courses online. They will find books, of course, online, and that are available already on the internet, or they can buy it from the stores. They will, but to begin this journey, they will need to be offered something in the university first. So I think to start with some courses, some simple light courses that they feel happy when they are applying what they learn in. This will be the beginning, of course, and then maybe some of them will like it as a specialty, or will like to learn more about it and will take more courses out of the university on his own. But it will begin with the courses, I think. I agree with Dr. Louise about this.
And if I can just add one thing on there, I think it also the courses are important, of course, but I think it's also that universities have to make an explicit, purposeful commitment to well-being, and it needs to start from the university saying this matters to us. This is why we're offering this course, and we do expect you to take it. But more importantly, we've taken it too, and we're going to do this with you as well to improve the whole organization. Because I've seen some of these courses offered in universities, and students are like, wow, this is amazing. And then they encounter the university as it has always operated, and they're still stressed, they're angry, they're still not being seen, heard, or feel they belong. So it's kind of like the social contract.
Yes.
Students have their part, faculty have their part, but institutions have their part. And again, this is kind of where I started off. I think institutions have let themselves off the hook because they've said, oh, well, there's a course for that. No,
Uh-huh.
they also have things to do. And I think this is also where we need to start looking at, mental health and well-being policies. Do,
Yes.
do universities have them? I don't think even half of them have them. Maybe even more than that.
It's
Um,
not such explicit.
yeah, they just say,
It
yeah,
needs
this matters,
to
but
be more explicit
yeah,
in the
it,
university policies, in the accreditation standards for the educational institutes. It should be so more explicit, more obvious, more seen online on
yeah.
site, that the institution adopts this policy. Not It's not just individual practice.
Or empty words, and I'm going to
Yes,
go
or
one
in
step further. I think we kick it up the can one more, and I think it needs to be an expectation of ministries. This is where the Ministry of Education has a role to say we expect this of higher education institutions and of schools as well. I think sometimes ministries either say nothing, or if they do, they just say, yeah, this is important. Okay, but then make it an expectation. Make it part of
yes,
the accreditation process. If it's that important, require it. And then universities would do it.
yes.
Okay.
So it's awfully serious, but I think we need to get serious about well-being and happiness. Yeah.
Yes, I go along with that. Okay,
Actually,
so
I started that because, sorry, Muhammad, that I started something like this. It's not yet complete, but I'm starting a project like this one because I'm a trainer in the National Authority for Quality Assurance and Accreditation of Higher Education in Egypt. And as a trainer, I went to the manager of the unit and I told him I want to prepare a course or a program about the university well-being for the faculty members.
Mm.
And he said, and what and what does this do with or what's the relation with the quality standards?
So if they're
Uh,
asking the question, they don't even see the connection.
so
And
yes,
it's well documented that well-being increases academic performance.
but
This is
but
not
but,
even a
but
question.
I told them, okay, I can win this case, but give me the chance to justify how this will link to the quality standards when we have this well-being policies in the universities, and when the faculty members have these skills to help the students be more happy during their study. And he said, okay, start doing it. So I'm still working on this project. I didn't finish yet writing the justifications for the importance of such a program, but I hope I can.
Fantastic.
So yes, wish me luck in this.
Yeah, fantastic.
super.
And I'd add one extra piece is that, there needs to be attention being paid to faculty well-being as well. So when faculty aren't happy and they're being just also not seen, not heard, not validated, they're not very motivated to do it for students. So I can sort
Yes.
of understand where that comes from. And again, this is where we need senior leaders, managers, everybody on board doing the same thing if that's going to trickle down to students. So it really needs to be an institutional transformation to be able to address student well-being.
Yes.
Okay, professors. So let's move on to the last question, or one before the last question, because unfortunately we're running out of time. So it's talking about what you'd like to see.
Sorry, but repeat the question, Muhammad,
Yes,
because
sure.
the last part we didn't hear it.
Okay. It's asking what you would like to see in the world of positive psychology in the years to come.
For me, more policy work. I think I've reached a point in the work that I do and going through all the research that we've hit the wall. And I'm not saying targeting individuals isn't helpful. I think everybody can learn skills and do what they need to do, but it will only take you so far. I think now it's time for organizations to step up and to put those policies and practices into place. And so for me now, it's the top needs to create change to come down, because psychology and positive psychology, we've been focusing on individuals because that's what we do as psychologists. And we've been trying to work our way up. This is never going to happen. So organizations need to meet us. And I think now it's about policy work.
Okay, so policy work. Dr. Amira, what do you think?
Yes, of course, policy, but I would like also to see more academic degrees for positive psychology that are offered online. Because after finishing my course, I searched for, and I didn't find a lot, just a few, and they are very, very, very expensive. And if I thought about studying something like this, I will find that I have other commitments that I need the money for. And if
Yeah.
so, this is something. The other thing that I would like to see an association or something like a society, an international body that gathers all the people who are interested in positive psychology, who had certificates or courses or degrees. When they meet together and interact and start to make research projects, this will add a lot for the knowledge about positive psychology. It will increase the distribution of the dissemination of the knowledge and more powerful, more power for the. It will give more power for the positive psychology.
So
I think.
just for listeners and Dr. Amita as well, there is the International Positive Psychology Association. It's called IPPA, IPPA, and that's
Yes.
really just a broad global network. It has there's a conference every 2 years. And then, of course, through the Middle East Psychological Association, we also have a positive psychology division. So there are things regionally and certainly internationally. IPPA is the association. So
Oh, thank you
got
very
it
much.
there.
That's
Yeah.
that's that's very good.
Okay. Thank you very much. Viewers, one last message before we leave. What would it be?
I think if there's university students listening, I would like to tell them and just chill. You're fine. It's going to be fine. You know, like, don't complicate things. Really, at the end of the day, everybody turns out fine. For all
Yes.
the stressing and worrying we do, everybody comes out of university. Everybody eventually finds a job. Everybody eventually finds somebody to love them, or hopefully they love them back. Everybody finds a puppy or a pet. It's fine. Everything is fine. It's going to be fine. Just relax. That's my advice. Just relax, everybody.
So everything is gonna be all right. Dr.
Yeah,
Amira?
exactly.
Yes, I would like yeah, to emphasize that everything is going to be fine, and that why because everyone has his or her own strengths that are built in, but maybe you need to realize them and and to follow your dream
Yeah.
using these strengths, and you will succeed as long as you are working, and you know what you want, where are you heading to. You are not just going to the university every day. Why are you going there? Why are you, what are you aspiring to achieve? And as long as you are working in that direction, you will reach it. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next month, but you will reach it by the end of the day, because you know where are you going to. So know what do you want and why do you want this, and how are you going to reach that, and start working. Just start and continue, and don't give up, because life is not one day or 1 month or 1 year. I hope that you will live a long life, and you have many chances to find your own or your own achievement that you will be proud of by the end of the life.
We all figure it out.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, dear guests, for your informative sessions. And at the end of this panel, I'd like to sincerely thank you again. I'd like to thank our dear guests, Dr. Louise Lambert and Dr. Amira Waly, for this enjoyable and beneficial discussion that will surely and greatly help our global audience. Also, thank you to our viewers for watching, and be sure to follow our guests via their bio links that you will find in the panel flyers on all Food for Thought channels. And if you have any further questions, just place them anytime in the comment section below, and we will get back to you. Thank you, professors. I'm really
Thank
grateful
you.
for having this discussion with you, and
Thank you so much.
I'm looking
Thank you
forward
very
to meeting
much.
you someday. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Muhammad.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Nice
It
to
was a
meet
great
you,
chance to
Dr.
meet
Amida.
you. Yes,
Nice
me
to meet
too,
you.
Dr.
You as
Amina.
well.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mohammed.
Thank you
All
very much, Dr.
right.
Louis.
Take care. Have a great night.
Have a great
Yes.
night.
Yes. Bye
Goodbye.
bye.
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 Bye.